A true sailor always knows what to do. On the morning of the 32nd day of sailing, I woke up with a start. "Wake up, Jerrykins!" Thea shouted in my ear. "There's a storm out there!" Still half asleep, I slipped on my coat and followed Thea up to the deck. The sky in the east was dark with big black clouds. "Go! And lower the sails, Thea!" "No, wait a minute. Leave the smallest one up. That way the boat will hold the seas better," I said. Maybe sailing wasn't such an easy thing after all. "I better get Trap," I told my sister. "He's a true sailor. He'll know what to do." I left Thea at the helm and went below to search for my cousin. The boat was being tossed about by the churning waves, which kept growing bigger and bigger. I opened the door to Trap's cabin. My cousin was huddled up in his bunk under the covers. "Trap, the lucky lady is taking on water. We don't know what to do," I shouted, shaking him. I don't know either," he mumbled, rolling his eyes. But, I sputtered, tossing my hat on his bed. "I thought you knew everything about the sea. Didn't you say you were once the captain of a ship?" In answer to my question, my cousin sat up with a jolt and threw up right into my hat. "Holy cheese!" I screamed, leaping away from the bed. I fell against Trap's closet. A book fell out. I stared at the title, "Learn How to Sail in 800 Easy Lessons." A horrible feeling gripped me like a mousetrap in a fully stocked kitchen. I grabbed the book. A bookmark was stuck at page 11. Lesson number 3. Sails come in many different colors. Try to pick one that will make you smile. "Smile?" I choked. "You'll be lucky if you can still eat soft cheeses when I'm through with you," I screamed at Trap. He had crawled back under the covers. "I'll deal with you later," I called as I rushed back outside. Waves as high as Mount Everest were pounding onto the deck. Each time the bow of the ship hit a wave, the boat sank lower. Then it would pop up again, this time tilted in the other direction. Trap wasn't the only one feeling seasick. I lurched over to my sister and gave her the bad news about our seriously truth-challenged cousin. For a minute, she looked as if she'd seen a cat, but she quickly got a grip. "Who needs him anyway?" she squeaked, flipping her tail over her shoulder. "What a mouse, that sister of mine! A first-rate rodent for sure." The wind was getting stronger and stronger. Its high-pitched whistle could have called every dog in the world. "Moldy mozzarella, this is no storm, this is a hurricane," I thought, nervously tugging the fur on top of my head. What rotten luck to be caught by the storm just now. We had only 2 or 3 more days before we would hit Treasure Island. Each time the boat rocked, I could hear my seasick cousin moaning down in his cabin. Serves him right, I thought. It seems Trap had accidentally forgotten to mention he was never a captain of a ship. He was a cook. Night came and things got even worse. We couldn't make out the direction of the waves in the dark. The lucky lady rocked back and forth like my Uncle Nibbles dancing at a family wedding. We were soaked through to our tonsils. Dawn came. The sea was still raging. Suddenly, disaster struck. A gust of wind tore down the mast. The lucky lady tilted on its side, and water began to flood in. We were sinking. The trunk of many wonders. I found myself adrift in the icy sea. I thrashed about for a long time, spitting out salty water. Monster-sized waves kept rolling me around. I felt like I was stuck in the rinse cycle of a giant washing machine. Suddenly, I caught sight of a little gray furry thing. "Benjamin!" I cried, grabbing by his tail. As if by magic, the wind stopped. I looked around. The lucky lady had vanished without a trace. We needed something to hold on to. And then I saw it. Well, happy birthday to me and to Benjamin too, of course. It was my trunk. I grabbed it with all my mousely strength. Safe! We are safe! Standing upright on the trunk, I scanned the horizon for Thea and Trap. Not a head or tail in sight. By afternoon, I was beginning to lose hope. But then, I spied two very, very small dots in the distance. My heart beat so fast even my fur stood up to see what all the fuss was about. Thea! Trap! I shouted at the top of my lungs. It was my sister and my cousin. All right. I paddled out to them, paws flying. Take hold of my tail, I shouted as I dragged them in. I really thought it was the end, cousin, panted Trap, collapsing onto the trunk. Thea wrapped her tail around mine. Big brother, I'm so glad you're okay, she sighed. I hugged her tight. Tears rolled down Thea's wet, furry face. Trap was crying too, for different reasons. The emerald eye, he sobbed. We'll never find it now without the map. I glanced at my sister. For some reason, she was grinning. Did someone say map? She slipped a paw under her sweater, and out came the crumpled up map. Crunchy cheese chunks, shouted Trap. He threw his paws in the air like he just won tickets to the Super Mouse Bowl. Hooray! 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 Just then, Benjamin opened his eyes. How are you doing, my little mousie? I asked him. Uncle, is it you, Uncle Geronimo? He murmured. Yes, my dear little Benjamin, it's me, I whispered warmly. Everything is going to be all right now, you'll see. Hooray! 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 Goodbye, silk pajamas. Thea tried to review the situation. According to my calculations, we should be right near Treasure Island, she said. Then she pointed to a black and white dot in the sky. A pelican! That means we are really close. Just then, Trap gave a loud shriek. I jumped. What is it? Do you always have to shout like that? I complained. I've got an idea, he squeaked in my ear. Then he grabbed the trunk's handle, trying to lift the lid. What are you doing? Do you want to throw us all back in the water? I protested. Trap was waving his arms around in the air. Why are you flapping your arms? I shouted at him. Are you going to tell us you can fly now too? Trap kept waving excitedly. Pajamas belt! Blue stripes! He cried. Finally, he managed to rip my comfy blue and white striped pajamas out of the trunk. Then he tore them into two pieces. I really am a genius. I'm so clever it frightens me at times. My cousin giggled. He was beginning to sound like a rat who's eaten one too many slices of American cheese. We'll just use this rag to make a sail. Rag? You call this a rag? I screamed. These are my silk pajamas with silver buttons. They cost me a fortune. They have my initials embroidered in gold. Well, isn't that just like you to be so selfish, Trap sighed. We're talking about a treasure here, and you're worried about your pajamas. Geronimoid, you amaze me. I gnashed my teeth together. Don't call me Geronimoid. My name is Geronimo. Geronimo, got it? There was nothing left to do now but rig up Trap's pajama, sail, and take off. We were all terribly thirsty. My tongue feels like it got stuck in the sandbox at Scampertown Park, mumbled Trap. I would give anything for some ice cream. Do you remember that ice cream parlor? The icy rat? The air conditioning in that place was always on full blast. You could freeze your fur off just waiting for your hot cheese sundae. Sweat dripped down my snout. Why did Trap have to go on about ice cream? I was starting to have visions of cheddar cheese sugar cones floating on the water. The next morning, a peal of thunder shook the sky. I licked my snout, and it was covered with drops. Drops of water! The rain was pelting down like the jet of a shower. I swallowed the drops that fell on my tongue. I was in mouse heaven. Thea and Trap danced their paws off. Then, as suddenly as it had come, the rain stopped. We hugged, then winding our tails together, we squeaked, "Friends forever! Mice forever!" Ben was the first one to reach the island.